Bismillah, walhamdulillah, wa salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And welcome to lesson 12 of Straight Path Academy Arabic Volume 1, Reading Arabic Letters. In this lesson, we'll be learning two new letters. Firstly, this is the letter kaf. And the letter kaf, it sounds like the English K. For example, the Arabic word kitab starts with the letter kaf. K, kitab. And this is a word that means book. So this is how the letter kaf looks alone, and this is how it looks in the beginning, middle, and end of a connection. So as we can see, when it is written alone or at the end of a connection, it basically has the shape of a hook coming down to the left with a little lightning bolt symbol in the middle. As for when it's in the beginning or middle of a connection, we can think of it like a straight line that was cracked, producing that K sound. So it has a sort of bent zigzag shape coming down. And next we have the letter lam. And the letter lam, it sounds like the English L. For example, the name Luqman begins with the letter lam. This is how the letter lam looks alone, and this is how it looks in the beginning, middle, and end of a connection. As we can see, when it's in the beginning and end of a connection, it looks similar to the kaf, except there's no lightning bolt in the middle, but rather it's just that hook shape coming down and curving to the left. And when it's in the beginning and middle of a connection, it's simply a straight line going up. So it's also sort of like the letter kaf, except it's not bent. It's just maintaining that straight form. And you can think about how the letter lam is literally just a straight line, which is also how a lowercase l is written. So that straight line for the letter lam represents an L sound. So now that we learned these new letters, the kaf and lam, it's time to move on to the exercise. Let's try number 6 together. First, we identify the letter. We learned today that this straight vertical line is the letter lam. So we write an L for the lam. The harakah we find above the lam is a dhamma. So we write a U for the dhamma. So this letter and harakah together would be pronounced lu, lu. The next letter we find is a bent line. So today we learned that this sort of zigzag bent shape is the letter kaf. So we're going to write a K for the kaf. The harakah we find above the kaf is a fatha, so we write an A for the fatha. So together this kaf and fatha would sound like ka, ka. And then the final letter we find ending a connection is a hook shape with that little lightning bolt in the center, which means this is the letter kaf. So we're going to write a K for the kaf. And then beneath the kaf we find tanween kesra. So we write an I for the first kesra and N for tanween. So this kaf with tanween kesra would be pronounced like kin, kin. So if we pronounce this all together, we would say lu ka kin, lu ka kin. Let's try one more together that will bring back some other letters that we learned in this course. Let's try number 32. So first we identify the letter. This shape beginning a connection with just a hook coming up is the letter ayn. So it's that throat sound, meaning we're going to write an A with an arrow above to represent the letter ayn. Above the ayn, we see a fatha, so we're going to write an A for the fatha. So we would pronounce this as ah, ah. The next letter has that snail-like shape with a dot above, meaning this is the letter dad. So we write a D for the letter dad. We put a dot underneath to remind us that dad is heavy. Above the dad, we find a sukun, meaning that there is no harakah for the dad. So we're not going to write anything after the D with a dot beneath it. So this would be pronounced as just a heavy D sound with no vowel. Next, we find the shape in between a connection with two dots above, representing the letter ta. So we're going to write a small t for the letter ta. Above the ta, we find a dhamma, so we write U for the dhamma. So together this would be pronounced tu, tu. The next letter we find is a straight vertical line. We learned today that this is the letter lam. So we're going to write an L for the letter lam. Beneath the lam, we find a kesra, so we write an I for the kesra. So the lam and kesra together would be pronounced li, li. And finally, ending a connection, we find that hook shape with a lightning bolt in the center. So this is the letter kaf. We write a K for the kaf. And above it, we find tanween dhamma. So we write a U for the first dhamma and N for the tanween. So together this would be pronounced kun, kun. So if we pronounce this combination of letters and harakat together, we would say a, b, tu, li, kun. A, b, tu, li, kun. That does it for this lesson. Keep up the great work, inshallah. Make sure that you complete the exercises because that will help you not only remember all these letters that you're learning, but it will also help increase how fast you can read. Because the more you practice, the better you'll get, inshallah. Jazakumullahu khairan. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.